You're listening to The Main Loop, a bi-monthly podcast all about what makes games interesting, engaging, and most importantly, fun to play. Good evening, everybody. It's The Main Loop. We're not dead yet, but after today we are.
The Lane Moop.
The Lane Moop? Welcome to The Lane Moop. It is time for our annual
final episode ever.
Our year in review, final episode of all time, forever. I'm Sean Bragg. With me is Stu Urbach, our only guest ever. And
I've been a guest this entire time.
Yeah, you never got promoted to host.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about all the good stuff that happened in 2017, our hopes for 2018, and beyond. So, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm glad you paused.
Let's do it.
I am so happy you paused for that.
We're like, let's do it. I'm drinking more beer while we do this.
I'm good.
Do you want a LaCroix?
Yeah, I'll take a LaCroix. That sounds
Make
like
you burst.
it.
Or I could make you like an old fashioned.
Oh, I'm good though. That sounds very tempting, but I think it would put me to sleep. What happened to Stuart? He literally fell asleep. Don't worry about it.
Gotta ride this train. Might just change your life. There's the power of love. Ink, bink, bink, ink, bing, 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 bing. 2017. What a year.
Wow, so many games. All of the games.
Literally, all of the games. What do we even talk about? I mean, I feel like obviously there's an elephant in the room that we need to wait and talk about because that'll be most of the show. Like, pretty much every episode of the show we ever did. But
I'm glad we're talking about it in past tense now. This is good.
Yeah, let's do some low-hanging fruit. 2017, for me, out of the gate, was the year of launcher fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
It finally set in.
Launcher fatigue and con fatigue. Everyone just had a launcher and a con. It was great.
There were so many cons, but I just was like, I realized I had this when I was like, I'm going to try out Fortnite. What people are playing it looks like a cool version of PUBG, maybe with some improvements. Oh, I need the Epic Games launcher. I don't want this. And then I wanted to try the game Gigantic. Oh wait, Arc. They have their own launcher. Which
apparently you can also get it on Steam, which I didn't realize. I was like, oh, let me just download this launcher. This seems safe. Oh, nope, that back out.
Yeah, I own...
This is awful.
I do actually own 2 games from EA on their Origin launcher. Good old games, yay. It's got its own launcher. Hooray, Blizzard, yay, adding things to the launcher. And of course, Steam. Which, the thing about Steam is you launch a game from Steam's launcher, and then it's play game, options, all this other stuff. I'm like, what?
You're like, I have no idea what's going on.
Launcherception going on right now. So, please, game companies, no more custom launchers.
I mean, Steam is basically like someone took Internet Explorer 7, turned it black, and was like, it serves you
put
games.
Pictures of games in there. And I get it, right? They're trying to keep our eyeballs. It's all about mind share and attention and getting us to stay there. And Blizzard has done that because they've got a lot of games that I play and great social features, but I'm just so tired of launchers for things. I miss the old days when I could click on an icon and be playing a game.
Yeah, I think the difference with Blizzard is they make really good games.
It's true. They don't really have to force me to keep giving attention to their games. I have to force myself to not pay attention to their games. Because it's all out.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I should play a different game tonight, like the other 33,000 games I have in Steam. Or I can play Hearthstone.
Right. Okay, so 2017 was probably the year that I played the most Heroes of the Storm yet, and probably the year that I tried to quit Heroes of the Storm
most times.
because I got a problem. Looking forward to 2018, I think I'm going to play almost no Heroes of the Storm this year.
Yeah, it's just it's too easy. They're like 15-minute games. I almost never like hate myself for playing a single game. It's only like the 30th game in the night that I'm like,
exactly.
Oh, it's 4 a.m. Maybe I should do that other thing like sleep.
It's the pizza of games, because a piece of pizza, it's not that bad. It never doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
It's always delicious. You're never like, oh, I'm so bummed I ate that single piece of pizza.
Right.
But around piece 5, 6, that's when you're kind of like, okay, I'm a piece of shit. And I don't.
Yeah, and then about 30 minutes later, you're like, "Oh, this was really bad.
This was a big mistake."
There were many other things that I needed to do in my life tonight, actually, that aren't happening anymore
because of all this pizza I had. So, yeah, I think Heroes of the Storm and really competitive games in general, I'm sort of taking a hiatus from. Anything that has a predominantly multiplayer focus, I'm sort of like, I don't want to do this year. Because I can't pause it. I got kids, got a family, and then there are those times where I'm just like, I'm getting so salty.
Yeah, I'm just like
mad
why
and frustrated.
Is this happening?
And why am I letting that happen? So I think this is the Bethesda's Game Awards thing worked on me. Like, this is the year of single player games for Sean.
And looking through the back catalog of amazing games that are single player that I did not play.
Oh my gosh.
In 2017, I'm just like, oh, I could have just spent not even like my games, like the entire year playing these games.
Yeah. Speaking of the Game Awards, why don't we do that? Because we never actually had our post Game Awards episode.
Oh yeah, what game won? It was a total stunner. I have no idea.
Yeah, shocker. Well, so let's talk about who had the most nominations, Nintendo.
Did they do anything big this year? I heard they were dying.
They had a game in almost every single category. They were nominated for Game of the Year, 2 nominations, Game of the Year for Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Nominated for Best Game Direction for both of those games. Not Best Narrative. Best Art Direction for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
nomination.
Breath of the Wild, great game. Not Best Narrative.
No. Best Score and Music for both of those games. Best Audio Design for both of those games. Let's see. Not a Best Performance. Not a game for Impact. Let's see.
I mean, it impacted my time.
Super Mario Run nominated Best Mobile Game. And Fire Emblem Heroes.
Oh yeah, remember that game that got released in January?
Yeah.
Super Mario Run? That's a thing.
4 of the 5 nominees for Best Handheld Game are Nintendo games because nobody even makes other handhelds. Best Action Game, they did not get a nomination. Action Adventure, however, Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild nominated. It goes on. Best Fighting Game, ARMS nominated. Best Family Game, some Nintendo. Best Strategy Game, some nominations there. So let's talk. Maybe we should work our way from the bottom of these Game Awards. We've got student game. Sorry, students. We're not going to talk about your game.
Actually, can we talk about that for just a second?
Oh, just kidding, students. Ha! That was a test. That was a test,
and
student.
you all failed because this is going to be bad. I was actually super disappointed when I saw that. I was like, okay, these seem kind of cool. I'd like to learn more. And I found it nearly impossible to find information about those games.
About the student games?
Yeah. I felt like, I don't really blame the students. Obviously, they'd have no time because they're making games, but I felt like it's something that the Game Awards could have done a better job of, or just like,
how do I find these?
Yeah, or even if it's like, you can't like give me some YouTube clips to find. Some of them I literally like spent 10 to 15 minutes just like Googling and trying to figure out where things were, and was absolutely unable to. And that was pretty disappointing for me, for someone who's like kind of interested in what's up and coming.
Yeah.
And so that was actually probably my biggest low light from the entire event. It was a small one, but yeah. I kind of wish I'd been able to see that.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Like if they're going to be nominated, then you want to be able to actually get them. Yeah, I love finding stuff like that. I mean, There are several games that I have really enjoyed over the last couple of years that I first heard about on Imager. It was like, hey, I'm the developer of this game. Here's some GIFs of it. Check it out. Cluster Truck. It was a great example of that.
Cluster Truck's great.
First time I heard about it was on an Imager post of the people making it. So, yeah, being able to find that would have been good. So, working backwards through some of these winners, the best debut indie game, Cuphead won. Yeah, I finally got to try it. It's incredible looking and sounding. It's really hard. I didn't get to play very much of it, but definitely it's like every element of it is incredible. I just haven't gotten to actually play through it. Golf Story was nominated for best debut indie game, and you have some feelings about Golf Story.
It ate so much of my time. Just
gobbled it up.
Because I remember when you were showing me the fishing mechanic in
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley, that game, that really, really pretty obscure game, actually. And you were just like telling me how engrossing it could be. Golf Story is basically like someone took that game and made it a game about golf. It's the same basic thing. It's just a little slider moving back and forth that you line up your shot. And although it does contain like a surprising amount of technical complexity, just in like there is spin, there's like wind that can catch, there's slope. So like it's not just like click, oh, it's in. You have to do a little thinking, which is great. But man, that game just like sucked up my time. I loved it. Also, it was just like totally irreverent about every Pokemon game ever, or like general Japanese RPG. Like halfway through, you just be like talking to people and they'll like give you a mission and you'll be like, great, thanks, I'll do that because I'm very easily suggestible and will do whatever people tell me. I'm like, thank you for pointing that out, because that is literally every JRPG ever.
Well, it's like the whole Pokemon thing. It's like, if trainers make eye contact with one another, they're legally required to do battle until one of them faints. Like, this is a brutal society. Some of the other nominations, Mr. Shifty, which I know I've talked about, which is one of my favorite Switch games very early on. That was nominated. Hollow Knight, Slime Rancher. So some good stuff there, but Cuphead taking it. Taking a lot, actually, this year. Overwatch, best esports game. It was up against League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike, and Rocket League. Overwatch is really good. I don't think
any of them could have won. I don't know if I would have been like super... Maybe League of Legends, because they've already won, probably, but...
Yeah. Overwatch is just continuing. I mean, it is a absolute juggernaut. That game's insane. The student games we talked about. The winner of that was Level Squared by Kit Brannon, Steven Scoglio, Dane Perry Svensson from the Swinburne University of Technology. Congratulations, you are wonderful. Cuphead won Best Independent Game. It was up against Pyre, Night in the Woods, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
A little surprised by that one, actually. That's a really strong lineup. Cuphead's great, and I think their animation style is incredible. But everyone I've heard who's played What Remains of Edith Finch is just like raved about that game.
Same with Hellblade. I've heard many things about that.
Same with Night in the Woods. I don't think Pyre was quite there. I think a lot of people love the mechanics, but was like, it's not quite like a fully complete game.
Yeah.
Although I'm still dying to play it.
I will say that is the edge that Cuphead had, just from the little bit I played it on a friend's Xbox One, was that there wasn't a single element that was like, oh, you went like 90% of the way here. It was no. The mechanics of it are really well refined. The art style and execution is really but like actually seeing it on a nice television set, like a big 50-inch TV. Is that big anymore? Maybe that's not big.
I have no idea. I assume unless it's
TV,
like 3,000 inches, it's probably small.
My Jumbotron. But seeing it on a large, HD screen, it was very impressive. So, most anticipated game, I don't know why that was presented by Mick Cafe, so that's not a real award, but everybody said... Literally.
Can I play it on a Mick Cafe? I think that's the question. That award would probably go to Skyrim, but...
Most anticipated game presented by Mick Cafe. The winner was The Last of Us Part 2. Anyway, about that. Best multiplayer, PUBG won for best multiplayer. It was up against Fortnite, Call of Duty World War II, Destiny 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I'm shocked that Mario Kart made it. That's
Meerkat 8 Deluxe and Splatoon 2. So definitely a strong lineup. PUBG, I mean, I will say, look, it has some rough edges. And we've talked about how PUBG is just like it is what it is. Like it both is the genre and it is the like absolute most basic, like distilled down implementation of the genre. But that's also what's strong about it. Like, it is actually still really fun to play. Of just like, run, try to find guns, try to shoot people. Oh, I'm dead. I guess I'll do that like 80 more times. Like, it's actually, there is something very fun about it. And Fortnite does a good job of expanding on that. But yeah, PUBG.
Yeah, I've been a little bit disappointed by some of the comments that like PUBG creators have made in the last
it's
month.
Like a guy though. It's like one guy, and then Bluehole is the outsourced like developers.
I was really confused by how it's like, oh, there need to be stronger IP rights in the game industry, and I like kind of agree with that. But their take on it is like really weird. It's like, dude, you can't protect a 99 player free for all as like IP. I don't want to be in a world where Disney can be like, we made laser swords, so now literally no one else can make laser swords.
And not to mention, like, Quake Arena did it first. So, like, yeah, stuff like that does bother me when it's like, there's so much prior art. It's like when Candy Crush was like, oh, we invented this. It's like, no. You refined it.
Yeah.
You did a good execution of it, but there's so much prior art in this. But PUBG did it. I mean, it exploded, and it's huge.
Well deserved. I think they earned their success. They're clearly putting a lot of thought into it. I think they might be going a little hard on the like, we built this train right now.
We built this city on rock and roll. Best sports and racing game. People play those. Forza Motorsport 1. Yippee.
Cool.
Best strategy game. Here's the first surprise. Ready? Best strategy game. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this.
Best strategy game. Beat XCOM 2. Beat Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail? No, that was the...
Tooth and Tail.
That was the late 90s, early 2000s Christian alternative hardcore label. Tooth and Tail, Total War, Warhammer 2, and Halo Wars 2. So
kind of impressive that Tooth and Tail made it onto that list even. That's actually kind of a big get for them.
And that's the Redwall kind of inspired...
Yeah, those guys made Monaco.
Dude, I love Redwall. So those are my favorite books.
Those are great. Yeah.
But yeah, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle beat XCOM. Which, boy, if I'm the developers of XCOM, that's got to take the piss right out of you. Like, they literally just made our game, but Mario, and they won the award for it.
I will say, people have told me that like the tactics in Mario Rabbids are better than XCOM.
Okay. I still haven't played Mario Rabbids, and I want to. So
I should loan you my copy, but. No, I'm just imagining how that conversation went in Ubisoft. They were like, guys, Nintendo called us. They want to make a game. We're going to make Mario XCOM. We're going to take half your department
XCOM
and make this game.
Yeah.
And then a year later, they release it, and it gets better reviews than XCOM 2, which they probably poached from the same division.
Right. Okay, now can I just say... The category Best Family Game. All 5 nominees are Nintendo Switch titles.
I mean, I don't think PUBG was up for that one.
Best Family Game. The Evil Within 2. Biohazard. No. Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, Sonic Mania, Meerkat 8 Deluxe, and Rabbids. Super Mario Odyssey, winner, Best Family Game.
Yep.
But I feel like Family Game would mean something that the whole family's involved in.
Yeah, it's
not
a little
just
weird.
family-friendly game, but okay.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would think that like Mario Kart 8 probably wins that more easily, but or even ARMS. Like I heard a lot of cases where people would play ARMS like
as a family.
They'd let their kids play it against each other.
Because it's to me ARMS, which I haven't actually played ARMS, but watching it has a lot of the same appeal as like Wii Tennis. I'm just like get in, do motion controls, and just do stuff.
Except it's an actual game.
Yeah. Don't you talk shit about Wii Tennis.
Oh, I love Wii Tennis, but. It's Wii Tennis.
Okay, moving on. Speaking of best fighting game, we're going to fight about Wii Tennis. ARMS nominated up against Marvel vs. Capcom. Nidhogg 2, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
That Nidhogg 2 made it, because, I mean, that is also a weird indie title. Nominated for best fighting game. Tekken 7, Injustice 2 is the winner. It's great if you like fighting games, if you're one of those people. Best role-playing game. Persona 5 wins. People like
I've heard
high schoolers and demons.
Yep.
It was up against South Park, The Fractured But Whole, Final Fantasy 15, Nier Automata, Namana.
Yeah, there are like 10 different ways to say that.
And Divinity Original Sin 2, which, speaking of games that every single person that I follow on the internet is talking about, is Divinity Original Sin 2. And I thought that game came out like 8 years ago, but apparently it's new, and people can't stop playing it. So maybe 2018 I tried that.
Cool,
no, I said I was only going to play single player. Best action adventure game. Breath of the Wild wins it. Duh. It was up against Uncharted The Lost Legacy, Assassin's Creed Origins, Horizon Zero Dawn.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they gave that to them, just because Zelda wins other places. But, you know.
Super Mario Odyssey also nominated there. Best action game. Wolfenstein 2 taking that one home against Prey, Neo, Destiny 2, and Cuphead. Which, I guess Cuphead is action. But
I mean, action is a very vague title.
It is a very vague title.
Sure.
So, yeah, Wolfenstein 2 winning. VR AR game goes to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Superhot VR was nominated, which is really cool.
I've heard good things about that, actually.
I have yet to try any VR.
Yep, neither have I.
2017 was not the year of VR for me, but it is the year I played Superhot, which was awesome. Star Trek Bridge Crew was nominated. Who let me have a microphone tonight?
It's actually just you on a Star Trek bridge in a queue. You literally do nothing else. You can look around, kind of, but that's about it.
Okay, speaking of Bridge Crew, do you watch Black Mirror? Mm-mm. Oh man, the debut episode of this new season. Whoo! Wow. Anyway, it involves a Star Trek. It's not Star Trek, but it's Star Trek, and it is dark and awesome.
Nice.
Metroid: Samus Returns wins best handheld game.
Yeah, that's about right.
Up against 4 other popular Nintendo 3DS games.
I guess they decided that the Switch didn't count, even though it's a handheld game.
Yeah, it will next year when they discontinue the 3DS. Best
Never
mobile game. Monument Valley 2 wins best mobile game.
Well deserved.
Great, but very well deserved.
I played my way through that. I'm a big fan. It was a nice evolution of the series. It's pretty cool.
Wonderful, wonderful games. Oh, and Fez.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Fez now on mobile. Also, like, the end of the year, all of a sudden, a million games came out on mobile. Gorogoa, Subsurface Circular was just like randomly dropped, and then
I think Talos Principle showed up.
Yep.
Like,
The Witness.
Yeah. It's just like, surprise, iPhones.
Oh, Bridge Constructor Portal, Reigns, Her Majesty. I'm not reading down my wish list at all right now.
Yeah. Oh man, Reigns. Oh. Let's finish up these awards. Let's go best ongoing game. A weird category again. Even weirder that they gave it to Overwatch, but I guess.
Yeah, I would have given that one to PUBG more, just because it's still like not finished.
But that was up. Warframe was nominated, which I'm going to try this year.
I've heard good things.
Rainbow Six Siege, PUBG, Destiny 2, and Grand Theft Auto Online all nominated. But Overwatch continues overwatching everyone. Games for Impact. This was a weird category.
I thought it was going to be more like social based on the title, but I think it was more like emotional, like resonance, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I couldn't tell from the nominees. Was this supposed to be like the most like social statement, or the most emotional impact, or the like most groundbreaking for
not sure.
You know, like because you could argue that PUBG had the biggest impact because suddenly everybody's making
so literally everyone has a.
But Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice was the winner there for its I guess for its dealing with mental illness. I haven't actually played it, so I don't know.
I've heard really good things, also some critical things, but I think overall it changed the conversation around it, and I think that was definitely big.
Yeah. Let's see here. Best audio design also went to Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, I've heard the audio design on that is just like crazy towns.
But Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey both nominated in that category as well.
I'm actually a little surprised that Rabbids wasn't nominated there.
Yeah, some
I've
good
heard
soundage.
the environment actually changes also as you're moving through the world.
It tickles your ear holes.
Yep.
Let's see here. Best score in music. Winner goes to Nier Automata. Nier
Onomatopoeia. That's no.
Nier to my banana. But Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey also nominated.
Not that we're seeing a trend here.
Not at all. Best art direction goes to Cuphead.
That's
for sure. I mean, direction, execution. But Breath of the Wild also there. I mean, just the other day, I hadn't played Breath of the Wild in a couple weeks, and I
It's
fired
like-
it up, and it was just like, this game is just freaking beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here again.
It's
This is
just
great.
wonderful. Best narrative goes to What Remains of Edith Finch.
Well deserved.
And then best game direction goes to Breath of the Wild. And game of the year, shocking really no one.
Yeah. it
The
was-
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Although there was another game award like 2 weeks before this where it also went to Breath of the Wild, and
Yeah.
like in it the game directors were like, and we'd like to thank Super Mario Odyssey for coming out so late in the year that they couldn't properly be considered.
Right. But Super Mario Odyssey was also nominated for Game of the Year, as was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Which I would almost buy a PS4 to play Horizon Zero Dawn based on what I heard about it.
I've heard really great things. I've heard very similar things to it that I heard about Breath of the Wild, and that makes me want to try it.
Yeah. So I think it would only be appropriate for us to not quite pivot, more like I actually couldn't think of it's hard to think of a word that's like not pivoting.
Rotate?
Turn slightly.
Sidle?
We're going to turn the wheel a little bit to the left. Course correct a little. Well, that implies we were on the wrong course before.
We're never on the wrong course, Sean.
We're going to talk about a slightly different but related topic.
Adjacent.
Yes, adjacent catty corner. Let's each give our game of the year for
Okay.
2017. And maybe we can have a few different. Let's each come up with our own categories, because I will tell you, in terms of hours played, just hours played, games of the year are going to be Slay Away Camp on mobile, Breath of the Wild on Switch, and Heroes of the Storm on PC. Like, those are where I spent the absolute most time. Close runners up are Stardew Valley on the Switch and Kingdom New Lands on the Switch, because I think 4 straight 6-hour days on that is pretty close to my most played game of the year.
Okay, I'm just going to come up with a bunch of crazy titles, crazy town categories. My format of the year is Solitaire on iPhone.
Ooh, Flip-Flop
Solitaire is amazing.
is wonderful.
I played Card Crawl and Card Thief. Card Thief released in 2017 for the first time. It's like Card Crawl. It's a rogue. It's a roguelike solitaire game.
Okay.
It's amazing. They also released Miracle Merchant, the same guys who released Card Crawl and Card Thief. The board game company Asmodee released Onirim as a solitaire game for iPhone. Was really good. And then Brave Hand also came out later in the year. Another solitaire type game. Just incredible. And then on top of that, one of my favorite designers who mostly does board games, his name is Tim Fowers, also released a game called Turning.
Okay.
He released it for Android earlier in the year, just came out for iPhone. So this year's just been incredible for like really dumb sort of solitaire games that I can play on the toilet that are actually kind of thinky and make me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Random game that includes Portal goes to Bridge Constructor Portal. Which really answers the question, can you make any game better with portals? And the answer is really just yes.
Absolutely.
Because I saw Bridge Constructor. I think it's at various points Steam has been like, you like puzzly, thinky games in World of Goo, you'd like Bridge Constructor. And I'm like, hell nah, that looks dumb. And then I saw Bridge Constructor Portal and I'm like, this looks like my thing. And it's literally the same game, but with portals, but it's amazing.
Maybe we can hope for 2018 to be the year of randomly shoving Portal into more games, and I'm so down with that.
Like PUBG with Portal, I'd get on board with that.
Where if I could shoot guns through portals and put them in strategic places, yes.
Most played game probably goes to like Breath of the Wild. It's just I can't even talk about it more than I already have. It's just been incredible. A game I didn't expect to like but got weirdly sucked into for probably 20 hours is Golf Story.
Yeah.
It's like Pokemon but with golf, which makes literally no sense, but it was amazing. And then I think platform of the year, it has to be Nintendo Switch, just because, oh my god.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
Yeah.
If Nintendo Switch didn't exist, it would be iOS.
iOS had a
hands
bang
down
year. Yeah.
aside from like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is amazing, from what I've heard anyway, there's been like
allegedly
allegedly amazing. iOS has had just like an absurd string of releases that are just like, and this amazing game is coming out for it, and this amazing game is coming out for it. And then, like, I
and then friggin' Genova Chen is
like, oh, by the way, and Sky. Also, game that I wish had came out in 2017. Sky by Genova Chen, by that game company.
Yeah.
Apple just killing it.
Yeah. The new, App Store 2.0, we've got to give, like, a special, like... achievement award, like honorary mention, because just the new App Store, the focus on games and
stories,
the way they're
apps,
spotlighting the developers is, man, it's impressive. It is great.
Yeah, I think that my big takeaway from 2017 is like the idea that like better graphics really converts to better sales and better gameplay and more recognition is kind of dead.
Yeah.
Like, we're finally at a point where the difference between what Breath of the Wild does and what Horizon Zero Dawn does, which are pretty similar games. I'm 99% sure Horizon Zero Dawn has better graphics because it's not played on like a 8.5 by 11 inch screen or whatever that's processing it. But Breath of the Wild was better because it was better designed, because it's not stick figures anymore, and that computer processors have space.
Yeah.
And, now that I can play games mobily, it's like my incentive to play a game on my laptop or my PC is just like skyrocketing down, because I'm like, I'd like to play games on my couch like I read my book. Well, to take them with me.
Your phone has a 4K screen.
Yeah.
Like, for all intents and purposes, and pretty good graphics processing, and we are reaching this point where everything you can play games on is good. It's not like, even in the era of the Wii, was like, well, you get the Wii because of the motion controls,
right?
But you get that accepting that the games also look like trash compared to the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Like, they're just
not going to be as good.
They just don't look good. Now it's like, everything looks pretty good.
Yeah, like, it's not like my eyes are bleeding good, but whatever. I don't care.
Your eyes bleed when it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to take a quick divergence. We couldn't decide on a word. It was like pivot. So
commercial break.
A quick aside. I want to know the most overused bullshit term of the year. The word I'm so sick of hearing because it doesn't even mean anything anymore. Term of 2017. I have 3 nominees. If you like them.
Yeah, go for it,
okay.
Sean. Let's
do it. Nominees are roguelike.
Oh, man.
Metroidvania.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Metroidvania. And insert the number bit. 16-bit style. 8-bit style. You know what? It's not 8-bit because it's running on something that has more than 8 bits of computing power. So stop saying
but there are squares,
cool
Sean.
8-bit graphics.
There are squares.
Like, I'm even fine if we want to say pixel art. Like,
that's
I think
fine.
It's a little bit pretentious, but like, I'm so sick of with innovative 16-bit graphics. I'm like, it wasn't innovative.
Yeah.
Like, it was innovative in 1991 when the Super Nintendo came out. It is not innovative anymore. And I know somewhere there's a Sega Genesis / Master System nerd going, Sega did it first. But you know what? The Super Nintendo was better. I said it. It's been true forever. It's time to just get over it.
I think the award for me has to go to Metroidvania. Because literally...
What does that mean?
Literally anything that is in 2 dimensions and hops around a little bit.
Yeah. And isn't a pure left to right. If there's any sort of verticality, they're like, it's a Metroidvania, because you don't just go, like, are we going to start saying, like, it's a Super Mario Brothers Mania type game?
It's like... Yeah, it's like, I live in a Metroidvania-style universe.
Yeah.
I am unrestricted in 3 dimensions. It's amazing!
I will say I am from now on, thanks to Terpster from The Instance and Yogg's cast crew, to only refer to the original games as Super Mario Bros. Just whenever I want to be pretentious and anger nerds, I'll be like, oh man, Super Mario Bros. 2 was by far the best of the original Mario Bros. Series. But yeah, Metroidvania, I hate that term.
Can we just kill it? I don't like, I literally don't know what it means anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be
and I think the best part
platforming. with verticality, as in you
That's
don't
like
just go left to right.
Pseudo open world-ish.
Yeah, you have some exploring to do, and maybe some item collection. But,
and then they include roguelike. It's almost like they were used in concert. It was like, it's a Metroidvania style roguelike.
It's a roguelike. It's an innovative 16-bit graphic-based roguelike Metroidvania style exploration platformer. And
I think you're literally describing Dead Cells. I'm not even joking. Like, that could be the tagline. Great game from what I've seen, but
this was definitely the year of every cool indie game trailer just made me not want to play the game because it was just like a roguelike, Metroidvania-esque exploration 2D platformer with amazing 16-bit pixel art. I was just like, oh, I hate you. I'm sorry. I hate you. I hate everything about the way you choose to live your life.
Yeah, it'd be like if in 2017 you would have like a Disney Marvel movie coming out that was like silent film-esque. It's like, no, that's dumb.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's dumb. Let's kill it.
Yeah.
And especially since roguelike now means vaguely difficult, from what I've seen. Like, that's literally what roguelike means. Like,
right.
It's like pseudo-permadeath, but kind of not permadeath, because you save some stuff. And what that stuff actually is depends on what game you're playing.
Right. And, yeah. Because even, I think of... Okay, so Downwell.
Yeah.
Downwell is a roguelike Metroidvania 8-bit game, right? Because it has you have item collection, you have some verticality, and you have true permadeath. You're just dead. That's just the end of the run. And that's about the only good thing I can think to say about any game that says that.
Yeah,
right now.
It's like I don't know what it adds to the conversation. It's not like like if someone's describing Downwell to me, I'll be like, great, that's an awesome game.
It's like the hand roasted or like
farm to table.
Yeah, it's all these terms that are just like, well, yeah, you're describing most food actually when you say farm to table. Like most
at one point it was
that.
not on the table, now it is on the table.
And it originated as a farm.
Yeah.
Great. So I don't know. I just get those terms just frustrate me because I'm just like, these don't mean anything.
Yeah, literally meaningless.
So, yeah, and I'm sure this year we will find a new
I have an award for weirdly unexpected trend that kind of grew out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So at the end of 2016, we were both really excited about ukulele.
We were very excited about ukulele.
So excited.
Actually, that was before that, because I think you and I were both still in Galvanize when we were excited about that.
Yep. It's been a long journey there, and then that sucked.
That's fancy nerd talk for code school.
Yeah. Then ukulele sucked. But weirdly enough, there were like 10 other 3D platformers that came out this year that were like competent.
Yeah, Hat in Time looked great.
Hat in Time, Super Lucky's Tale.
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey, which is pretty close to being a 3D platformer, even though it's like quote unquote open world.
Yeah, but it's still definitely.
It's still like there are a few others that I can't remember, but like. Weirdly a trend that kind of popped out of nowhere. It's like, hey, 3D platforming, still a thing. Still pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that was not a thought. That was just me going, and then not saying words.
I think we call that an utterance.
An utterance. Excuse me, I have an utterance. Hey, preacher, I've got an utterance. I don't know what I was going to say about that. Actually, I do know what I was going to say. Ukulele, big disappointment, right?
Biggest disappointment of 2016, 2017, 2015.
Yeah, the last decade. So, the other night, I was up late, couldn't sleep. My wife was downstairs watching Netflix, and I can't fall asleep unless she actually comes to bed. So, it's on my iPad on Twitch. Search Banjo-Kazooie.
Sure. Yep.
There's somebody doing a Banjo-Kazooie speedrun. Let me tell you, the game is still amazing.
Yep.
And better than all the games that are just trying to be Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
Like, it is a little bit insane how good some of us had it in the mid 90s. So I've got another award category for us.
Let's do it.
This is the worst part of great games. So, or how could I phrase this?
I think I get where you're going. Yeah.
This would be the part of a great game that made you almost call it the worst game of the year.
Yep.
For example, combat in Breath of the Wild. When sometimes you're like, this is so fluid and fun, and sometimes you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever had to do in my life, and why would anyone think that this was worth shipping? For me, worst part of great games, and what made me almost call it a horrible game, is throwing your freaking hat and trying to jump on it in Mario Odyssey. Because let me tell you about the Joy-Con. The Joy-Con goes perfectly straightforward, and then you make the slightest muscle move, and it is like, 90 degrees to the right, that's where you want to throw your hat? I'm like, no, I'm still holding the joystick forward. And it's like, no, you're not.
No,
you're holding it slightly to the right.
To go
oh my gosh, trying to make some of those multi-platform jumps, and you're just like, all right, holding the joystick straight, and my hat went 45 degrees to the right, and I am dead now. So that was my number one worst part, was absolute BS hat throwing / Joy-Con sensitivity in Super Mario Odyssey.
Joy-Con sensitivity.
By Trojan.
We're gonna pause for a laugh break now.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me pull some up. What do we got here?
Yeah. So this would be the thing that made a great game almost the worst game in your mind. Because combat in Breath of the Wild at times, combat mixed with the slow camera panning at times made that game borderline unplayable. Which shows you how good it was. If I'm willing to say that there were elements that were borderline unplayable, and it's still the best game that came out all year.
Oh man, I would drill it down even further. The dodge or the parry in combat, where you have to they strike you and you have to jump out of the way, and then you get a free attack.
You get to kill them for free.
Yeah. Except for the fact that the time window where you get to execute that appears to be like
0.08 nanoseconds. Yeah.
It's like, that felt great.
Yeah.
Oh, how many times did I die before that? 35. Good.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I would say the ratio of times that I successfully got the parry whatever it's called, flash lightning attack.
Yeah.
Super slow-mo attack in Zelda. The times that I got that on purpose compared to the times that I got it completely by accident is like a ratio of 16,000 to 1. Because most of the time it was like, I wasn't even trying to get that, but hey, I'll take a free 50 free hits. And then when I'm trying to execute it, it was just like, this is actually impossible. Nobody can do this on command.
Yeah, I'm at one of the bosses in the DLC.
Okay.
Quick aside. Nintendo surprise bombing us with the second DLC at the Game Awards. The most un-Nintendo thing I've ever seen. Was wonderful.
To do one more
keep
thing.
That up. Yeah, it was great. So I had one of the bosses down to basically 0 health, one tick left. All I have to do is literally one hit, and he's lightninged up, so I can't attack him normally. And it's very clear that the game is telling me you need to parry now to win. Yes. And I was at full health. Guess who died? This guy. Yeah. It was just some of the mechanics are this is really fun and great, and then others of it are if the enemies were any harder, I would hate life, because what the hell is going on right now?
There are still times when I'm just I don't understand why Link is running in the direction that he's running. Because I feel like I'm doing inputs on the controller that make total sense to my brain, and I still can't explain for the life of me why he's moving in the direction or way that he's moving.
We actually installed a basic machine learning algorithm in this that sends
he starts to learn the optimal move. So, okay, So we both kind of agree that it was probably...
Yeah, it was just actually, my Super Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario Odyssey.
My Super Mario Odyssey entry would be the guidebook.
Yeah.
That they keep telling you to go look at, that has a compendium of 300 different combinations. And I'm that's nice. I'm sure there is a speedrunner who will very diligently practice and execute all of these.
Yeah.
Why is this here, and what are you doing to me? Oh my god.
I would say if we're going things I hated the most about the best games of the year, it's also every time you're flying between kingdoms. Well, we've got a few minutes. Why don't we review a move? Did you know you can press A to jump? Well, we're almost at the next kingdom. See you later. It's just, did we need this? I would rather just watch like the ship flying through space in Odyssey to get to the kingdoms than have to go. Well, why don't we review a helpful move? Using the joystick moves Mario in a direction. Okay, it's great.
No, it's like Wheatley in Portal 2, except non-ironic.
Exactly.
It's like, no, he's actually trying to help you, but he's not.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah, that was... So, some of those moments are like, oh, you made this incredibly delightful game, and then you did these things that I just...
Yeah.
Who was like, this is important? My guess is there was like some A/B testing where they're like, oh, the like really junior players need this to like get through, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, what
The
is
constant
going
review,
on?
I did not appreciate.
Let's review your test score. Like, that's not why I'm playing this, but sure, you do you.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about the best platforms this year. We were just going to do a quick little rundown. Why don't we go, I'm going to say reverse order again.
Sure.
So, Xbox One XSP Scorpio Pro
The
Edition.
Xbonics.
Limited Scorpio Pro Edition.
Hooked on Xbonics.
It seems like there's still an Xbox following out there. Penny Arcade had a really great post about the Xbox One X, about how good it looked, how fast it was, and how much it felt like sort of quote-unquote coming home to Xbox games. Which I can understand, because I played Xbox for a while, and there was a lot of great stuff on it. So yeah, I wouldn't turn one down if someone sent me an Xbox
someone's like,
One
here
X.
you go. Yeah,
I would play it.
I think it's hitting a very specific niche.
Yeah.
I think like the retro 2000 gamer, which is a really weird spot we're in now, but that's a thing.
Yeah.
That are like, Call of Duty, Halo, that was their shtick. Like, they're gonna love this because it's like all of that, but super powered.
Mm-hmm.
I think the point that I was reading about the Switch is like the hard thing for most of these most other companies like Sony and Microsoft is like they just don't really have a good way to copy the Switch quickly.
Yeah.
It's going to be 5 years out before they can actually...
Yeah.
And then maybe the gaming market has moved on anyway, so maybe they don't try to copy it. So, like, they really have one option, is just to be like...
Yeah.
Blow the shit out of graphics.
Yeah.
Which is like, sure, go for it,
Yeah. And especially because there's still... I mean, things like the NVIDIA Shield and the Steam Link, there's still something about sitting in your couch, grabbing a controller, putting your feet up, and playing on your nice large television set that is better than sitting at your desk playing with a keyboard and mouse. Now, I understand that keyboard and mouse are better for so many things, and yes, you can... All the PC Master Race things, I get it. I've got a great gaming PC that I built myself. Love it. But there's still something about... Boy, I would love to just grab a controller and play something on my nice big TV, on my nice big sound system with my feet up right now. Wouldn't that be great?
Because that's what I do when I want to be entertained.
Right, yeah. Almost like these are for entertainment. So definitely a huge place for the Xbox. If somebody wants to send one, I am SeanBragg@gmail.com. PC, having just banner year. I mean, so much good stuff on Steam and Indie. And
Indies, just like...
And we talk about launcher fatigue, but there are, like... I feel like 2017, now more than ever, we're starting to actually see the Steam sort of monopoly on PC gaming starting to break down, which I think is good.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I bought several things from GOG Little Games this year.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like having another launcher, it's still nice that like I've got options and they've got a lot of the stuff that I want, and
most of the games are lightweight enough that having an extra launcher isn't terrible, even though it's a pain in the butt. But yeah, it's not bad. I get it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think having Steam, someone forcing them to update their UI so it doesn't make me want to cry every time I use it would be great.
Would be okay.
I'd love to be able to like actually sort the games I own instead of be like, here's a list.
Yes.
Can I reorder the list? No.
Not really.
Can I like organize it? Sure. Like 10 clicks later, you can organize a single item. But yeah, I think just with the number of indies coming out, it's like it's a good year for PC. It can't not be PC.
Right.
It's going to be...
Yeah.
It's going to be a long time before anyone's really like...
Yep.
Is like, oh, we're going to go to a very different platform first and not be established because there's always going to be a gamer base there, right?
And hey, not to be that guy, but Apple showed indications that it's listening to people and started shipping better graphics in their lower cost machines. And with Thunderbolt 3 and how easy it is to add an external GPU to your Mac now, the gaming on the Mac might get back to like early 2000s era when people actually gamed on Mac and wrote games for the Mac. So, anywho, I would say next is probably the PS4, because while I don't own one currently, I did, and it's just great. Like, Sony has just done a really good job of like, we're going to give you a really good experience, like from the controller comfort to the UI to the exclusives that are on it. And
if you love really polished indies that are like a step up, PS4 is probably where you're going to get it, right?
Yes.
PS4 had Journey, or I guess that was PS3, but
yeah,
PlayStation had Journey.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn is incredible.
The Last of Us, the HD remake, was phenomenal.
And then like their Games Expo in Paris, I think, where they did it, had like a pretty sweet lineup. Also, if I were like really committed to VR as a gamer, I would probably lean towards PS4 just because I'd figure it's probably a little bit better fleshed out. I have a better feeling about like what's coming out there.
Yeah. Maybe a little more cost effective too than getting a PC rig for like the HTC Vive. Yeah, it's a really great, and again, when I remember, gosh, I was thinking it was 2013 when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out. But that was sort of Sony's thing. Was Xbox was like, we're going to become this hub of all the entertainment in your house, and it's all about TV and DVR and all this extra stuff and games. And Sony was just like, it's a gaming machine, and it's really good at games. And I definitely found that to be true. So I would definitely say if you're in the market for console, PS4 is pretty awesome. I've heard really good things about the PS4 Pro, but everything I've read says that if you play the PS4 Pro and then you go play the Xbox One X,
it's going to be better.
It's the Xbox One wins. The Xbox One X wins.
I think the difference, though, and the trend we're kind of seeing is like the game design quality of the games you're going to find on PS4 are going to be higher. Are you going to find, like, if you want to play Call of Duty or Halo or whatever at 50,000K, go get the Xbox One X. It's going to do what you want. If you want to play a wider variety of better games, I'd probably get the PS4.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely this... I mean, we have an embarrassment of riches as far as good games and good gaming platforms now, which is actually good for gamers because it's not just enough to say, oh, we have polished mechanics and good graphics. It's like, well, great. You could pick Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or any of those sort of AAA games. Get all that. It's much more dependent on that X factor, which is good because I don't feel like it's actually that hard to sort of get that little X factor of a game. Like, oh, this game is like these other games you've played, but here's this thing that sort of gives it a unique feel. And I don't think we see that anywhere more than on mobile, on iOS, when you play these phenomenal iOS indies that are just like, yeah, there's more advanced XYZ I could get on a console or a PC, but there is something about this that I'm playing right now, which is why I think we would both agree that mobile gaming and iOS in particular it was almost the platform of the year.
Yeah, if it weren't for that other damn console.
That stupid thing.
But yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing is differentiating in like what platforms are good at, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to find Call of Duty on mobile.
Right.
You're still going to find a lot of Candy Crush garbage on mobile, which is fine. But you're also seeing a lot of really quality games that are pretty thoughtful, that are like, yeah, mobile's a good spot for us because there's a really wide audience base. They don't have to worry about installing Steam or whatever. Right. They can just play a game, and it can be kind of interesting. Yeah. And the restrictions that indies are able to play with, that, maybe like someone who plays Call of Duty is going to get really pissed by, not having full, joystick control or whatever. I think 2018 is going to continue to just be an amazing year for mobile games. I really believe that. Well,
especially as phones keep getting more powerful with, look at the iPhone 10, which now it's got this large 5+ inch screen, but in a small form factor that people want to carry. It's really fast and powerful. And like, it has this app store built into it, right? It's a feature. Like, all the games that are available for it are almost a feature. And so it's definitely a place to be. I mean, I'm really torn because in 2018, I really want to I really want to develop a game. I really want to learn game development. I want to learn I've been a JavaScript engineer for a couple of years now. I really want to learn a second language, not just like, oh, I'll like dabble, but I want to actually like learn,
get into it.
And it's really hard for me to figure out, do I want to focus my time and energy into something like C#, which will let me write for a lot of games, or do I just want to learn Swift and develop great iOS stuff?
Yep.
And so it's definitely very, very appealing, but by far the best platform for gaming this year is the Nintendo Switch.
It's not even.
It's stupid. Like, it is stupid how great the Nintendo Switch is. It's absurd.
It's not fair. It's just like...
Yeah. It is, like, 2017 was absolutely the year of the Switch.
It's...
Because, I mean, late 2016, we see the first little tease about the Switch, and we're all kind of like, okay, that looks neat.
Oh, it's fine, maybe, but...
But will it work, or will it be Wii U 2.1?
Right.
No. This is...
Not even close.
Yeah. And I definitely wrote down in our notes here, like, it is the iPhone of portable gaming. Not mobile gaming, because, not like phone gaming, but of portable gaming. And I say that as in... portable games before the Switch were, as Steve Jobs said about software before the iPhone, mobile software before the iPhone, it was baby software, is what he said.
Right.
That's what portable games were. Like 3DS games compared to Switch games. There's some great games.
Yeah.
But they're baby games.
Yeah, they're not even
compared to
close.
what you can do on the Switch. Portable hardware hasn't always been so great historically. 3DS and 2DS, they're wonderful, but they also feel like cheap plastic consoles at times. And by absolutely, like what Jobs said about the iPhone when it came out, like the Switch is 5 years ahead of the competition, absolutely. Like there's no way we see Xbox One M or a new PS Vita Pro that people actually want to play until at least 2022. I mean,
and the difference
so far off.
Is that like when you want to throw it and put it on your TV, you do it, and it's
right.
great. It's not breathtaking.
Yeah,
but it's great, and it's when you want to.
Yep.
The idea that portability of like having it either on your TV or in your lap is incredible.
Yes.
And I think it really changes the way we play games, just because now I'm thinking about, because it really is a different kind of interaction pattern when you have to think about, oh, this person's going to be playing this on a portable device. What does that mean? And I think that does like change things the same way that the iPhone changed how we use software.
Right.
Where it's like you have to think about it a little bit different of an interaction factor. When I went home to visit my parents, I brought my Switch with me and played it on the plane, and I was just like, playing Super Mario Odyssey on a plane was just...
Yeah.
I can't even describe it, just because it was like, this feels great, because I am playing a game in the exact, like a very immersive game, in the exact spot where I really want to play an immersive game and forget about the fact that I'm like cramped next to some random person and like in the middle of a flying metal box. Like, it just totally changed things. Yeah.
Well, and it was just such a, I almost said paradigm shift, and then I would have to kill myself. It was such a radical departure from the traditional thinking, which was, I'm thinking about the PS Vita, which from all 5 Vita owners, I've heard that it's great. But the thinking traditionally with mobile gaming... It
sell well in Asia.
Traditionally with handheld gaming, it's sort of what's the least we can do, right? Because that's what you have to pair. It's all about paring down as much as possible and delivering a good experience. The Switch completely inverted that and was like, no, it's about getting as much as possible out of... and it's telling that like games don't have like, oh, in TV mode, this game has XYZ enhancements. And in portable mode, you lose that. Like, no, you don't lose anything, and it works. And God, if they came out with a slightly bigger one, if they were like, oh, here's the Nintendo Switch XL, and it has an 8-inch screen, I'd be like, well, crap, here's my money. Like, give it to
a lot more money.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think the other thing that really just kind of killed it over the moon, there were 2 things. One was like every game podcast I listened to, anytime they said the word Switch, the first time they said it, the next phrase was, oh boy, do I wish every game I ever owned was on this thing.
Yes.
Which was like something we actually never imagined about mobile gaming, was like, oh, I can just play Call of Duty on this. Like, no one thought of that, actually. Like, and then 2, that they shipped with Unity. And like, I can't, like, I actually think we undersell how big of a deal that was. Like, I think if looking back, if it was like, yes, it's the Nintendo console, it's still super proprietary, no one can get on it, we'd be like, yeah, this is great. We'd probably say, yeah, it won the year, it had Zelda, had Mario, but we'd be like, yeah, it was great, it was Nintendo.
Yeah.
But the conversation we're having for 2018 is, and think of every mother effing game that we can put on this that is going to totally change.
Yeah.
You're like, every new indie game is gonna, like, every indie maker is gonna be like, can we put this on Switch?
Yep.
Every previous, like, platform, like, or not platform, like, developer is gonna say, what's our back catalog? What can we move over to Switch and resell? Like, all of the Wii U games that were amazing that I sold with my Wii U because it was a McDonald's toy, I want back on the Switch because I want to play them again.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't buying Skyrim on Switch just for nostalgia. They're buying because you can play Skyrim on the Switch. It's like, okay, take one of the best games ever made and combine it with the most wonderful gaming console ever and, like, put your hands together. There you go. And I think it just, to me, it really shows what Nintendo was doing wrong with the Wii U and how far ahead of the competition they got with the Switch. Because the question the Wii U was answering was, how do we get people to not play the PS4, the Xbox One, and play the Wii U? And that was the wrong question. The real question was, how do we get people to put down their smartphones and play full-featured, stop playing Candy Crush, you jackass, and play a real video game? And the Switch is so wonderful. It's so easy to carry. The TV thing is, I mean, every time, still, people come over, they're like, what's the Nintendo Switch about? I'm like, well, I turn it on, I'm playing with the Pro Controller, and they're like, oh, this looks fun, this is kind of neat. I'm like, wait. And then I pop the thing off and hand it to them, and they're just like, hold on, how did you do that? I was like, I just took the thing off the thing, and it's still the thing. And I'm like, wait, we can put it back on the thing and then still do the thing with the big thing. And it's just like, it's so mind-blowing of...
Yeah, I remember when the Wii U first came out, and they're like, oh, it'll be great, you can play on the Wii U while someone else is watching TV. Which is, like, absolutely what the Switch does. Except it's not limited to your living room.
Yeah.
Like, I actually remember reading a Polygon article where, like, the guy was describing how he would see people, like, bring an entire Wii U onto a plane to play it. Because you could do that because it had, you know, its own screen. He's like, yeah, wow, that's dedicated. Now we have a Switch, and you just do it for free. And it's just like, it's... The number of games that, like, I see on my Steam account that I'm like, oh, if those were Switch games, I would rebuy those because they're Switch games.
Yeah, the number of times that I see on Reddit or somewhere about, oh, this super cool new indie game or a title, and I'm like, Switch or I don't care.
Also, like, playing Rocket League on Switch for the first time, where I was like, this is an esport. On the Switch. And I don't have to worry about any of that, like, weird matchmaking on PC and all that stuff, and it just, like, all works, and oh my gosh.
And if I could describe 2017 in a single emotion, it would be the feeling of being less interested in a game because it's not a Switch exclusive. Being like, oh, I want to get this game for the Switch, and then finding out it's not a Switch exclusive and being like, oh man, like, plebs can play this too, like non-Switch people can play this. I'm less interested. Like the Switch very quickly, like, won my affection of
it's just it's
and it got Doom, it's gonna get Wolfenstein, it might get Evil Within 2, like Bethesda's
Hollow Knight's coming out for it.
It's ridiculous. So I mean, we say 2017 was the year of the Switch, but realistically probably 2018 is going to be the actual year of the Switch.
A banana. The entire, like, Switch library, e-commerce, purchasey place is going to just be it's going to be impossible to find things.
The Switch, just like yesterday, became the fastest selling video game console in the US in history, which is insane to think. Like, the Switch is, like, sold faster than the NES, the Atari 2600, the Super Nintendo, the Sony PlayStation, which was like...
the thing.
Reinvented the wheel in gaming. Like, the Switch has beat all of them. So, it has definitely... in 2018, the Switch is absolutely going to go from like developers and publishers sort of dipping their toe in the water, like still playing it safe, see if it's going to be the thing to. I think this is definitely the year everybody goes all in, and it's just like, it's got to come out on the Switch. It's got to come out on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. And if you have to cut one, it's not going to be the Switch.
Well, and it's also the type of thing where the weird thing that gives it a lot of longevity is, like, as those games get older, like, maybe they get released as a PS4 exclusive or whatever, because, like, oh, we want to release it with 1 billion pixels or whatever.
That's my understanding of how.
Yeah, that's how pixels work. You know, and then 2 years later, you're like, oh, we have this new opportunity. Because you know what's so crazy about it? The Switch is, like, changing who owns a console. Yeah. Like, console ownership is pretty dedicated to intense gamers, right? And that's, like, what the Xbox One X is, like, 100% geared to do. No one's going to be like, oh, I'm casually interested in some games. Right. Let me just drop $500 on this thing that does some stuff. But you're like, oh, here's the Switch. You can play it more portably. There's, like, this title of really welcoming games that Nintendo makes. Also, all of these other games that you might have heard of before, like Doom, you know, like Skyrim, that are, like, pretty popular, that you can just kind of get into. And you're not, like, a gamer. You're just, like, a person who plays a game. Yeah. And that's why I think we both had iOS and mobile and Switch up top, because it's like... Yeah. The types of people who are playing games are changing, and the types of games we're seeing are changing as well. Yeah. And just thinking about things like iOS and the Switch, like, how much easier it makes it to get a game like Monument Valley into the hands of somebody who would normally just play Candy Crush. Yep. Like, that's a really cool thing to think about. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like the perfect, like, test case or use case? Evidence. The perfect piece of evidence. Pivot. I think it's pivot. The perfect pivot. I have a friend who bought a Switch for his son for Christmas. He's got a 12-year-old son who's, you know, really excited, likes all the games and stuff. And to his son, it's a thing that he plays, like, in his room or, you know, in a chair somewhere portably. But then my friend is like, but then he goes to bed, and I get to plug it into my nice big-ass TV and pull out the controller and play Breath of the Wild and have this amazing, like, very grown-up experience. And the fact that it can get you a man who can do both, basically, is what I'm saying. And the Switch... I mean, I think the craziest thing about the Switch is, like the original iPhone, it actually delivered on all the promises. Like, because I remember getting hired at Apple... Am I allowed to say that? And it's too long. It's been too late. I don't care. Getting hired at Apple right before the original iPhone was released, and seeing the keynote and all the training videos and all the stuff that was like, okay, well, yeah, that's how they say it's going to work. But what's actually going to happen? But obviously, we're going to get it, and it's going to be janky, or the unlock thing isn't going to be as smooth, or it's not going to be as nice. And then getting them and being like, oh my god, it does. It's exactly like they said it was. And the Switch was the same thing. It was like they had this huge lofty promise of, like, amazing console gaming, and also it's like a little bit smaller than a Wii U, and you're like, oh, is that really what I want? You're like, I don't think it's really. And then you're just like, no, it's actually what they said it would be, which was like, it's actually just everything. It's my everything. I love you, Switch. Yeah, it's just I had a friend who bought Super Mario Odyssey for his kids. Yeah. Had to wait until Christmas to give it to him. And he was just like, brutal. I can't do this. Yeah. This is awful. Finally gives it to him, and he's like, yeah, I might need to get a second one because I want to play it. That's actually exactly what my friend who got one for his 12-year-old son, but he's also got 2 other kids. He's like, so I need to get them for them. He's like, I want to have a Switch that my son can have. I want one for me. I want one to keep in my car. I want one to keep in my office. Like, I need to buy 6 more Nintendo Switches. And the fact that it's $300, which is not a drop in the bucket by any means, but you can basically get 2 Switches for the cost of one Xbox One X. Yeah, and the catalog of indies that are available without requiring some sort of gold subscription or something like that. Just like, hey, here's all these indie games that are available for cheap. And you get 2 controllers out of the box, which is what someone mentioned that I didn't really think about. Like, they're not perfect. Like, but you can play
they
with
work.
but
Yeah.
that you can play with another person.
Yeah.
There was that random commercial that came out at the beginning where like the woman was like bringing the Switch to play with her friends and everyone was making fun of it, and then we realized we're actually all that person.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's actually amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And then like
I basically never don't have it with me.
Like, do you have a gaming Yes, I do.
Yes. Would you like to see it?
And I think the other fact that not only were the games amazing, they all played to the strengths of the Switch, and they did it just like they committed to it. They weren't like, oh, and we're going to release a back catalog. They're like, nope, we're going to release an amazing game every month, and it's going to do something different that's really special with the Switch.
Yeah.
And it kicked off with Zelda, where all of a sudden you're playing an open world Zelda portably, and you're like, what is going on? And then ARMS came out, and it was like totally different crowd, took advantage of the new Joy-Cons that are like the Wii controller, except a million times better. Weirdly, this crazy amount of technology fit into like these tiny little sticks.
Yes.
And then Mario Rabbids comes out, and then Pokemon Tekken, and then Super Mario Odyssey kind of closes the year.
Yeah.
And like they took a huge risk actually with Super Mario Odyssey, like forcing you to use some of the motion controls to like do things, which I thought was really interesting and kind of annoying, but I thought it was worth it in the end. Like it was like, oh, you're doing some kind of cool things.
It didn't end up being like oppressive, like I have to, because it's like, oh, I can, because I primarily play with the Pro Controller.
Yep.
But being able to be like, oh, I shake it to go up a tree faster. That's not that bad.
Yeah,
like,
it's not
super awkward. It never makes me feel like I'm really missing out by not using the Joy-Cons, but you're right. The Joy-Cons are amazing. Like, they're fantastic to play with, and when you hand one to somebody and like, no, you just use this. Like, it's another of the many like, oh my god, what moments that the Switch offers. Like,
a developer whose podcast I listened to is making the point that like with the original Wii, it was like, so you're gonna check that it made motion, and that's about the amount of control that you're gonna get out of it. It's like you might get force there, but you're not controlling like direction. You have no clue.
Nothing.
You're just like you're shaking it, and something happens when you shake it. He's like, it's not the case with
the whole of the programming on the Wii motion controls was like, did controller move?
Yeah,
true. Okay, and do
we got it.
Return, do thing.
Yeah, but the Joy-Con is like, it can tell if you're twisting right, it can tell if you're twisting left, it can tell if it's slight, if it's quick, if it's slow. The amount of control that you get, which it's still their only huge miss was that 1-2 Switch was a paid game. I just don't understand that,
because I am not paying money for that.
I felt like it would have been amazing, because 1-2 Switch is like the exact game that I would like bring the Switch out to show other people to play.
Right.
Because
just like Wii Sports was.
Yeah.
Like,
let's do it. Let's figure this out. This seems kind of cool. I'm not dropping $40 on that. I'm not dropping $10 on that. No. I might drop $5. Like maybe it take a run. Like more than that though, not even close. And it was kind of disappointing, just because I felt like that probably would have like spread the word of mouth even faster.
Right.
But like maybe they couldn't have handled that anyway because of supply
or
chain.
Or maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they didn't want the system to be out of the gate pigeonholed as
that's fair.
Portable Wii.
Yeah.
If the big selling thing is this pack-in motion control-based thing, then maybe less people buy it because they're like, I had a Wii 10 years ago and I'm not, and it was great, but I'm not into that anymore. Versus, well, first of all, it didn't come with any games. It was like, no, you buy a game.
Yeah, talk about ballsy.
Right. And obviously, if I'm going to buy a game at launch, it's Zelda, not chew on your Joy-Con and it can tell you how many Skittles are in the thing or whatever. Like,
that was maybe my favorite fun fact of the release, was that there were more copies of Breath of the Wild sold for Switch than there were available copies of the Switch in the United States.
Yeah.
People are just like, oh my god, let's do this.
It's like when the original iPad came out, and I remember buying the cool leather case for it that it's into, like weeks before I could get the iPad, because it was just like, the cases were always sold out, and I was like, well, I might as well get the case now and be ready. Yeah. Like, well, I'm not going to not buy Zelda. So, yeah, as much as I want to say 2017 year of the Switch, 2018 is probably going to be even better.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see, because 2017 was like, everyone's like, oh, it's the Switch, it's amazing, honeymoon period. 2018 is going to be really interesting to see like what happens once other manufacturers like really have to start competing against it, and
Right.
like what are they really going to do? I'm kind of curious. It could be really different.
Yeah. Well, we're closing out 2017 here in the fourth day of 2018. And we may have more than alluded to this at the beginning of the show, but this is tentatively the last TM episode of the main loop. And I feel like we'd be doing a disservice to the show if we didn't at least touch on that before we signed off, maybe forever.
Talk to you never.
So I think a couple of the driving factors behind this, for me personally, one, I have a wife and almost 2-year-old twins. And I am in a pretty competitive, high-paced career field as a software developer, which I haven't been in for very long. So I do already have a lot of things on my plate, which Stu can relate to some of that. He's got a dog.
No, yeah.
But more than that, I think Stu and I had sort of a frank conversation where we both love games, as you can tell from listening to the show. We're passionate about this.
I have no clue.
We've done a bunch of these episodes. We've done almost a full year worth of this show.
Yeah, we have. And
realizing, okay, if we, let's say that our energy for games is a finite resource, which it is, and 50% of that goes to actually playing the damn things, what do we want to put the rest of that toward? And kind of the consensus we came to was learning more about actually making, designing, writing for me, programming and composing music and art for, that kind of thing. Actually creating. So a big driving factor for the main loop quasi signing off is we want to actually pursue creating a game or two with the limited sort of time we've got.
Yeah, I think, as software developers, we kind of have a weird spot where like we have the opportunity to like learn about making games, have it be cool, have it like relate to our careers, even though we're probably never going to like become game developers full time.
Right.
It can still be fun. It can still be really exciting. It can still contribute to our careers. And we have the opportunity to just like do it on our free time and like really kind of, I don't know, if you have one shot, right? We talked about this a bunch. It's like, oh, what's the one thing we could do?
You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance.
Oh my god. Is that like 15 years old now? Ugh, shoot me.
Something like that.
But like, you only have so many. There's only so much opportunity to like really do something, and I felt like we could either say, yeah, we're all in on the main loop. Let's like do the things that people who want to podcast, do.
Right.
And like really hit that hard in 2018 and like commit to this, or we could do the other thing that people who like games do, which are making games.
Right.
And I think we both kind of agreed that we'd be pretty remiss if we didn't at least give that other one a shot.
Yeah. Because I would say that if there's a defining weakness of the quote-unquote millennial generation, like people our age,
it's the millennials.
It's really wanting to eat our cake and have it, and to say like, no, I can achieve all my goals and realize my dreams and not have to sacrifice anything to do it. And if you make me sacrifice it, I'll get triggered and write a blog about it and Instagram how offended I am. When the reality is like, we've only got so much time, like Stu said, and so much energy, and it was a choice. Just like in 2018, I'm going to play a lot less Heroes of the Storm because there's other goals that I want to move toward, and I had to realize that spending all my evenings playing Heroes of the Storm, even though I like it and enjoy it, but that's I'm making a choice. I'm sacrificing something to do that. And so, yeah, I want 2018 to be the year that I at least try to make a game or two, learn how to program them, learn a new programming language, like I said earlier. And so, for that reason, that's why I'm signing off from the main loop. And we'll see. Nothing is in the world of the internet. Nothing really lasts forever, and it's not like we're deleting the show and could never record a new episode when we felt like it. But,
yeah, I mean, I could definitely see us like recording a dev diary if we want to, just to like talk through something easy like that. That wouldn't be a huge like time sucker if there was like some explosive new game that came out.
Right.
like Pokemon
And
next year.
we've kept on the back burner the Main Loop living on as a monthly, sort of a month in review type show. Like maybe it comes out on the first of every month and we just talk about notable things from the month before, or a dev diary type thing. So I wouldn't say that the fate of the show is completely uncertain at this point. But again, even just casually doing it twice a week, a podcast takes a lot of work. There's several hours worth of work of recording and editing and publishing, and then just preparing and sort of it's kind of like if you've ever streamed on Twitch, you can almost develop the sense of like, oh, anytime I'm playing a game in any capacity, it's a waste if I'm not streaming it.
Yeah, we should be doing this. Yep.
And same when it's like sometimes I just want to play a game and not be taking notes for the podcast. And for me, it was getting a little stressful of like, I want to play the game I want to play right now, but I feel like I should be playing these other games so that I can talk about it.
We both end up playing Heroes.
And then we just play Heroes all night. It's true. Damn you, Blizzard! So, yeah, I've loved doing the show. This is my second podcast that I've done for more than a year. Have absolutely had a blast. It is definitely not the last time you'll hear from Stu and I. We have way more dumb shit to say and do together. We're not getting.
No, I'm out of dumb shit, Sean. I'm only smart things from here on in.
We're not getting any smarter, so it's not like we're going off to pursue our intellectual pursuits.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
2018, time people of the year. We got this.
It is the year of the dog. I don't know how that's relevant, but just FYI.
I have a dog.
Yeah.
Those are both facts.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's about it. So, we're going to try to make a game. I will leave you all with this, which should make the true fans, true believers of the show
if you've been here since the start.
Yeah. Anything that we publish will be under Noob Shoes Studios.
110%.
Absolutely. So you can rest easy knowing that eventually you will be able to get something from the makers of Noob Shoes.
Maybe even a pair of Noob Shoes one day. Hashtag licensing.
With our faces on them. So, yeah, I do want to thank everyone who's listened. It's been a ton of fun, and again, it's going to be it's going to be like when you forget something on Thanksgiving, you have to go back inside the house after you said goodbye to your family. If we do release another show in the future,
it's going to be weird.
It's going to be super weird, but yeah, I want to say thanks for everyone listening, and no thanks for not ever leaving any iTunes reviews. So I'll leave on a bitter note. Yeah,
getting sassy. Yeah, thanks everybody. It's been really great. This is my first podcast that more than 5 people have listened to. At least that's what Sean tells me. For all I know, it could literally be just him. I have no clue. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I hope it's been as fun for the people who listen to it as it has been for me. I think I'm really looking forward to 2018 and where it kind of leads with game development, and we'll be sure to be in touch.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Stay tuned. Yeah, that's about all I can say. So
happy 2018.
Happy 2018, everyone. Go buy a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, just go do that. It'll make your life better.
Bye.
Bye-bye.